What's going on, everybody? Degen Dave here. It is great to be back. Man, quite the break, but much needed. And regardless, there was a lot of chop prior to the new year. And then, yeah, as soon as we get the first of the new year, money's coming back in, and it's the year of the horse. Any of you guys that are into kind of the Chinese narrative. And yeah, last year, for any of you guys that didn't know, it's the year of the snake. And they sure did snake us with alt season this, alt season that. I mean, yeah, quite a challenging year last year. But you know what? It's a new year. It's my first show for the year. I've got some bangers. I've got setups right now, right here. Let's freaking go. Time to send it. And if you guys are brand new, you're like, what the heck is this channel? This is the Chart Hacker channel, where we go over technical analysts. I'm a TAist myself. We basically chart the heck out of things, and we kind of predict what's going to go up, what's going to go down. We make money when it's going up. We make money when it's going down. Anybody that's involved in the Chart Hackers, we actually finally had a Zcash short play out. We actually got the banger entry on the Sunday banger. I think I got another potential short coming for you guys. But with that being said, make sure to hit the bell notification, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm. And for those of you guys that don't know, the time that I air is United States time. Pretty much everybody in Banter is sleeping. And I know there's some of you guys, some night owls out there watching the show. But yeah, I've got a lot to cover in a short period amount of time. Basically 30 minutes is kind of the threshold here. I'm probably going to push it to 35 because there's a lot to cover here. And yeah, the title is not clickbait. I'm truly feeling like this is a potential swing long season here. Not every trade, but I got eyes on a couple swings right now. In fact, 2 or 3 for you guys right here, right now. So let's get into this. All right, so banter bubbles, what do we got going on here? For the month, we have, quite a bit going on here. Night, MYX, CC, but there's also a lot of tokens that are doing quite well, right? So if you guys recall, I was talking about a render setup on my Twitter there, kind of off by 1 beat there, but obviously render ripped to the upside. And what does that mean? I think it could be a trigger for the AI narrative. So we definitely need to pay attention to that. It's nice to see virtuals wake up from the depths of hell. Aster probably going to 0. I don't know. I'm not really interested in Aster these days. If you guys paid attention to the price action on that one, a lot of round trips, 2%, 5% up, 5% down. You've got Ondo negative 17%. That is actually looking quite nice, but I know the Lord of Entry gave you guys that one earlier. So make sure to go back and watch his show if you haven't yet. And yeah, let's go down for the week, right? And we're getting a lot of green here, a lot of meme coins, Pengu, Pepe, Polygon, which I took a sneaky long last night, and that one is printing quite nicely. There's a narrative that I think all of you guys should be aware of, and it's oversold on the RSI Heatmap, so I'll kind of explain why. And then Bonk, nice to see Bonk wake up here. Sol getting a little bit of strength right now. Meme coins for the most part, and then you got Zcash, a lot of FUD on Zcash. Like I'd mentioned, we were shorting that, and personally, I think it's. I think Zcash already had its time in the sun, and, it's time for rotation, if you will, right? And that's not to say Zcash is not going to go to $10,000 like Uncle Ran is predicting. But, for the most part, I'm just going to be holding that short there, right? So nice to see XRP pumping 10% today as well. What does that mean? Institutions coming into the market, whales coming into the market, especially with the XRP. I think it's top 3, top 4. And you already know for it to pump 10%, you need a lot of money getting injected into the market. So for the day, a little bit of red here. I think, it was nice to see that rally. And, for the past 48 hours, it's been kind of a sell-off, Asia taking profits. And I'll kind of explain my thought process with the current price action with Bitcoin here. So let's move on to the RSI Heatmap. What do we got? We've got Polygon, like I had mentioned, 𝗂𝗓 waking up. I had no clue that 𝗂𝗓 was on the upside there, deep. 𝗂𝗏, I know Dylan was looking at a short with that one. As far as oversold, Uniswap, I think Panda was talking about that. XPL could be a play there. I don't know if I have time to talk about XPL, but I've got that on the radar. And what else do we got? Yeah, nothing that really stands out. I think I saw AV&T there, but I mean, the DEXs guys, the whole, Aster and Hype and AV&T, I mean, they're looking all sad. And in my opinion, it's just kind of a rotation thing. I think money's going into some of these tokens that have been suppressed, that have been beaten to death. And I think those type of narratives will have their time in the sun again, but just not right now. So let's get into Bitcoin. And what am I thinking here, right? If you guys were tuned into my Tuesday session here in the Chart Hackers, you got to be a part of the Chart Hackers. So if you're not, the link is in the description below. But every Tuesday I run a charting marathon. We probably charted like 20 tokens and went over my Bitcoin, analysis here. And what I am seeing currently on the macro is a ascending triangle, right? What typically happens on an ascending triangle? A move to the upside usually, right? And I'm still looking for the 97K. I personally don't think we're doing something like this. I could be wrong, but currently we're just creating higher highs and higher lows. We have a lot of support here right around 87K. And yeah, look, it was a lot of chop. So let's break this down right quick, right? It was literally chop central, up, down, up, down, up, down prior to the New Year's. And then all of a sudden during Christmas, you have Asia sneaking in their buys here, and they're buying and buying and buying. And then if you guys were paying attention to the 1st of January, when U.S. market and New York finally had their hands, into the markets, you can see that they basically wicked everything down, try to get a good entry, and then they pushed it up. And then we just had this nice rally here. And in my opinion, Asia had the best long entries. They still do. And yeah, essentially this is them taking profits, right? So we had a nice rally on Monday and, this nice little selling pressure here. But if you take a look at the chart, if you take a fib from the low to the high, what do we got? We've got the science working for us. We have a 618, the hacker zone, as we call it. We have the 50-day moving average. Look at that. And then we have the uptrend anchor VWAP from the absolute low right here, this blue line coming in. It's like magic, guys. So look, I love the bounce here. And that's not to say that we can't do something like this, right? If we do, I think it's okay. If you guys were watching the Lord of Entries show today, he was looking for another potential area down here. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because we have another hacker zone situation, right? We have from this wick low on the 18th of December to the recent high, you have another 618. You also have a point of control situation, and then you have a rising trend, right? So these ideas that I'm going to share with you today are probably going to get invalidated if we start coming back inside here. And if we do, we're probably coming down and we're probably going to test and take out these lows. And I still think that's going to happen. But personally, I'd love to see the rally to 9,700K first, get everybody FOMO'd in, and then nuke it down to those levels there, right? Which we will be hunting for big shorts when that time comes. But as of now, I don't think so. Okay. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. So moving on to dominance, right? Here's why I think we're going to have another run with the altcoins, right? So on the macro with dominance, right, we had, let me just kind of zoom out here, right? We've looked at this for quite a while. For those of you guys that have followed me here, we have this rising trend on the macro. We finally lost it, right? And we've kind of just been hanging around here, and we're still looking for a bigger move to the downside, right? I know Alex Becker was calling alt season, and hey, look, that could be a signal to do the opposite. But hey, if you keep calling alt season, maybe one of them is going to get correct. One of them is going to be right. But let's zoom in here. Let me show you guys what I'm seeing. Right. So we had this loss of trend as well on the kind of shorter time frames. This is going back to November, right? So we lost it. We had a nice little back test, and currently we are respecting a downtrend here with dominance. Okay. Now I've taken a fib from the move here on the 25th of November to the high, and look at that 786 perfection with the bounce, right? So that was pretty spot on. In fact, we called it in the Chart Hackers on Tuesday. It was pretty much live there, and we're getting this nice little rally here. But if you guys paid attention, there's a lot of altcoins that are not really affected by this dominance pump. And I don't think there's too much room left for dominance, right? So that means Asia could open up with a little bit of selling pressure, right? But I personally think that there's a high probability that this trend line gets respected, and that we actually make another drop right here, which would mean the unleash of these altcoins that have been beaten to death, that have been suffocated and have been pushed down. And why do I say that? Because we have a lot of tokens that are showing 3-day bullish divergences that have not quite ran yet. And if you guys have paid attention, so for example, Render, let me show you guys, this is just a reference. This is actually a chart we went over on Tuesday, but you know, the 50-day moving average, as I go over these setups today, is a very important thing to pay attention to. And Render, you know, usually the 50-day moving average is a rejection zone. We have broken above it. We have broken the 100-day moving average, which is this white line here, right? And it almost reached the 200-day moving average, right? So Render is kind of the, you know, the one that made the first move, right? And if Render did it, that means there's some other ones that could do it. And so, yeah, I'm going to go over some good setups here, mostly longs. I do have a short for you guys with WLFI. And if any of you guys remembered the last show, which, you know, 3 weeks ago, I did give a WLFI idea for the long. And it was funny, as I said, hey, I think the price level is going to probably hit this 18 cents. And look, we finally did it. We finally hit it. Actually, today we came right into the hacker zone on the macro here. It's looking like a nice short, but let me get into these longs first. Yeah, I've got a little bit of fundamental mix with the show today. So look, first setup here, I want to give you guys is NMR. We've done quite well with NMR. And yeah, look, if you guys remember, JP Morgan had this announcement that they're going to fund 500 million into their hedge fund. We had this ridiculous rally. Then we had the 10-10 wick, and then we pretty much came down to the original level here, right? So what's interesting about NMR is for TA wise, we have this falling wedge on the macro, okay? And we're starting to break it right now. This is really key. Now, why I'm talking about NMR is because, yeah, the whole JP Morgan thing is pretty bullish, but these guys have an event on January 30th, right? So I am looking to hold on to this trade as a swing for up until this event, right? And I'm sure there's going to be some kind of announcement, some kind of catalyst, some kind of hype, and maybe we'll short it later. But as of now, I want to be building a long into this conference here. And that's kind of the idea behind the swing. And so here we are. This is the 2-hour time frame. We have a 2-hour reversal print, and you know, we basically came back inside, but then we came and broke it again. And I've just taken a trade on WEX with this idea here, okay? And one of the things that I really like about this current setup is, you know, not only are we breaking out of this macro rising falling wedge pattern, but we have the uptrend anchored VWAP coming in right here, and you can see the respect of it, right? And we actually came perfectly into the anchored VWAP. We have a bullish order block showing right here. We have a rising trend in play. And so this is kind of the zone. This is the kind of the zone to build the trade. And again, you know, use proper risk management. If you're going 20x and all of a sudden you're negative 60%, negative 80%, well, you're not doing proper risk management. I would recommend 3 or 5x leverage. And if you're going to use 10x leverage, wait for the confirmation. It's just like poker. Wait for the turn. Wait for the river. Once your odds gets better, that's when you add to your size, increase the leverage, and get ready to send the whole thing here, right? So, you know, I'm looking for this to, you know, start playing out here. This is one that has rejected the 50, that is yet to break above the 50. And so again, we're kind of getting in before the crazy move. Now, we have a point of control right up here at about $11.18. That's a 14% move. And yeah, just remember, we could very well have dips down to this territory, but if we do, that's completely okay. I would say 951 to 994 is the entry zone, and the final stop loss is a 4-hour candle close below this red line here, which would basically be loss of the trend, loss of this point of control, and yeah, reassess the situation later on, which means Bitcoin is probably coming down, right? So remember, based on my Bitcoin, you know, theory, these are why I'm giving these setups, right? So that's the NMR play. The next play, and I'm a little underwater right now. I got a little trigger happy, but it's Jupe, right? Jupe is looking good. Sol is showing strength today compared to Bitcoin, if you guys were paying attention. And what's interesting about Jupe right now is they have what they call Jupe-uary, okay? And this is the last year. They did it last year, but this is the final year, rather, that they're doing an airdrop. They're giving free tokens to the stake and hold stakers, okay? And if you look here, it says a new snapshot will be taken on January 30th, okay? And I did a little bit of research, it's not just for existing stakers. Yes, the existing stakers will get more allocation, but you can literally get Jupe right now, stake it, and be a part of this airdrop. So what is the natural human behavior? Procrastination. We have quite a bit of time. We have 22 days until the snapshot. And I'm feeling like in the next 10 days, people are going to start aping into this bad boy, especially if we get Bitcoin rally and, you know, rotation and Sol strength, right? If Sol's seeing strength, it's going to get nice here. So look, Jupe made an attempt to get above the 50, didn't find the retest of it. It went a little bit lower, obviously, because of the markets pulling back. But ultimately, we have this, you know, I've got a fixed range volume profile here. We have a point of control right here. And guess what? We're above it right now. That's always one of my main check marks is, are we above the point of control? We had a hidden bullish divergence on the 2-hour time frame. We have a bullish order block right here, right around 20 cents. We have another uptrend anchored V up right here. So yeah, look, I actually started the position here, and you know, I've just been adding and adding and adding. And my plan is to add and add and add here and just kind of hang on to it until the big rally happens, right? Until we see that big move, just like we saw with Render and Bonk, if you guys were paying attention to. And look, if we get some kind of rally into the, you know, the 30th, I think a 20, 30, 50% move could be in the cards here. And I'm actually looking for a big short after the snapshot, right? So look, this whole thing could be invalidated if we start coming and doing something like this. But for me personally, I feel like we're going to see a move to the upside with Jupe. Not to mention as well, but if you go under the 3-day time frame, we had a bullish divergence on the 3-day right here, right? It printed right here. We kept going down. Then we had this rally up, and then we essentially were getting this retest right now. And this is when you get in. You get in on the retest, and we're kind of into the retest, the beginning of the retest zone right now. Okay, so that is the Jupe play. Again, it's a snapshot. So I've got 2 bangers for you guys. The next one here is Zen. Okay, I gave Zen to the chart hackers on Tuesday. I'm in this trade currently. And yeah, this is part of the base chain, and it's a privacy token, right? It's actually, it was forked off of Z Classic, which is the same fork of Zcash. So if you guys do some research, same family that these guys are coming from, but Horizon is on the base chain, right? And so with Coinbase and that whole narrative, I think Arrow and that, you know, everything else like that on the base chain is going to have its turn. And you already know privacy is going to have a run. But here's what's interesting about Zen is that it did not give a crap about the last 48 hours. If you guys were paying attention, it was like -1%, -2%, back to 0, and it's actually running a little bit right now. And yeah, you can actually trade this on Gravity. I've taken this trade, but look, I'm telling you guys about this right now because it's still kind of early, even though I gave the chart hackers kind of ahead of time. You know, they pretty much got a really nice entry here. And what we have is uptrend anchored VWAP, another anchored VWAP. We have the point of control. And so the zone to really build this is, yeah, have a starter position now. But, you know, basically build into here, right? And I'm looking for a move to about $11.41. Okay. Just because I've got a lot more setups here, I don't want to spend too much time, but yeah, just remember, this is a privacy coin narrative. The 382 takes us to this undercarriage right around 1140. But if we actually get the bigger move to the upside, here's what's also cool, right? And I forgot to mention this, but value area high on the macro range, point of control, value area low, and look where value area low is on the macro range. We're literally above it right now, guys. So again, that's part of my checkoff list is we got to get above these major resistances. We got to reclaim value area low. We've done that. We're above point of control. It's holding quite nicely. It hasn't broke the 50 yet. And I'm looking for a violent move to the upside with this guy. Okay, so Horizon, in my opinion, is a banger. Degen play coming up. What is that Degen play? That Degen play is going to be COAI. And now I nailed the short back in the days. I haven't really traded this one. You know, there's been a lot of FUD about it. It was as high as $43, I think, right? So, or made it all the way to $48 rather, right? And so it kind of went to the depths of hell and beyond. But in my opinion, it has kind of found its bottom here, right? We have a bullish order block on the 12-hour time frame. We have a point of control. And yeah, it's been holding itself quite nicely here. Degen play, again, high risk, high reward. But I think that if you can still leverage trade this, which you can on Gravity, in my opinion, there's going to be some shenanigans, just like 𝗕𝗟𝗡𝗃, right? 𝗕𝗟𝗡𝗃, you thought it was dead, but guess what? They pumped it up again and they brought it down again, right? So I feel like there's going to be another crazy move happening here with COAI. And yeah, look, even if we just get this cute move to the point of control, that's a 24% move, guys. So in my opinion, this is a banger. This could also be a swing trade. You have a 4-hour reversal print as well. Again, point of control. We have a rising trend in play here with COAI, right? So look at this, you got a kind of a rising trend situation. And yeah, just be very careful, right? If we start losing the trend line, right? This is a high risk token, right? You could do something like this, you know, have a plan to get the hell out of this thing. Okay. But you know, for me, I'm long. I like it, and it's a Degen play, and can pay, you know, could be a nice little payoff there. Yeah. So look, let me just show you guys what I got going on here. Right. So I've got, this is Gravity again. You can't trade COAI, I believe, on WEX or Blowfin, but you can trade it on Gravity. So if you guys want to trade that with me, you can actually go into the description below. It's the first link here, Gravity Exchange. I love this exchange. It's a decentralized exchange, meaning that there's no middleman. They can't freeze your account. They can't say, oh, hey, we need KYC. None of that. It's a privacy kind of chain or whatever, right? So nobody will know about your transactions. It's completely private. But my favorite part about it is you earn 10% interest on your total trading balance here, right? So I've got 10K in the account. I'm earning 10% interest. It's a weekly payout. And I've got a lot of stuff cooking here, right? I've got Zcash holding this swing short, quite a bit of handbags currently, and I'm looking for lower on that one. I just kicked on Zen's, you know, a little bit in profits, right? So I'm running a cross account 50x, but you can see here that it's only ran away 2%, so it's not too late. And COAI is pretty much at entry right now, right? So my entry for COAI is at 41.87. Pretty much at entry right now. Get involved. And then there's my juke position, a little bit of drawdown, right? I got a little trigger happy, but you know, about a $1,300 in drawdown. Got a little bit of that polygon-matic, right? So there's a token burn fundamental thing going on. If I have enough time, I'll show you guys what's going on here. Also took an EIGEN trade and an ICP trade, and that's what I'm going to cover next. So let's get into those setups here. So EIGEN, what is going on with EIGEN? Okay, so look, we traded this guy back in the days, and it got slaughtered, but it printed a 3-day bullish divergence. And the thing that I'm interested in, and that I'm seeing on some tokens, is tokens that have filled the 1010 wick, right? So this was the 1010 wick, right? And you got tokens like 𝗬𝗏, for example. So let me show you guys what's going on with 𝗬𝗏. We had the 1010 wick with 𝗬𝗏, but we never filled it, right? Price action never came down to fill this wick. It actually held the 618. So for me, that's strengthy. It shows strength. But if you take a look at something like EIGEN, it's filled the wick and it went beyond it, right? And not only did it go beyond it, but it is on a macro point of control here at 39 cents. Printed a 3-day bullish divergence. And if we zoom in on the shorter time frames, it's holding the uptrend anchored VWAP. So this is very key for me. Point of control on the macro. We are above it. If we are below it, I am bearish. If we are above it, I am bullish. So we are above that. We have the uptrend anchored VWAP, and it is yet to break the 50. So 3-day bullish divergence, guys. That's all I'm going to say. And so I'm planning on holding this as a potential swing trade. The beauty of this trade idea is that you can easily ladder into this zone here. It's about an 18% move to the downside from where we're at now. So even at 3 to 5x leverage, just kind of sitting in this trade, just like how we had to wait 5 days for the Zcash short, is it worth waiting a week or two for some kind of stupid move up to this undercarriage? I mean, guys, this could be retarded. So even if we have a move to the anchored VWAP and this value area high, this is a 60% move to the upside. And I showed you guys what happened with Render. Render broke the 50, it broke the 100, and it almost made it to the 200. So if it did exactly what Render did, we're looking at 125% move to the upside. This is also a spot play. So if you're scared of leverage, this is a token to buy. It just had a token unlock on the first, massive unlock. And I think that's what this was. It was anticipation of this massive unlock. But here we are, the first. And yeah, nobody's selling. So look, I like this. I took the trade both on WEX and on Gravity. So if you guys don't have EIGEN on your exchange, feel free to join me here. And then, yeah, look, I really like this next one here. Okay. This is called ICP, right? And you guys have heard me talk about this one before, but this one, in my opinion, is going to be a freaking banger, right? Why? Not only do we have a 3-day bullish divergence, but we have two of them. Okay. This is music to my ears. And then if we zoom in here on the shorter time frame, same situation. We have point of control. We have the uptrend anchored VWAP. We are above it, and it is looking primed to break the 50 and go higher. And there is a catalyst coming up. And guess what that catalyst is? Do your own research. But the founder of ICP has a white paper proposing on January 14th. Okay. 1.3K likes. He's addressing the inflation. There is a solution. There is a plan. And if it's a good idea and if it's a positive response, guys, it's going out on the 14th. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days until that drops. Believe me, I'm going to be building this. Okay. And here's what I love about the TA about ICP. If you take a fib from the 10-10 wick to the high, like, remember this, guys, we saw this crazy rally with ICP back in November. Ridiculous 400% move. I just want a little bit. What if we get a move up into this 382 or this horizontal? That's an 86% move, guys. I'm getting excited about this one. Okay. So again, not financial advice. This thing can go down and go to zero, but I feel pretty strongly about this one, and I'm not, full sending it yet. I've got, so this is my WEX situation here. I've got ICP cooking, $15,000 position. I'm not going crazy with it, right? So half size position. Once I see the turn, the river, once I see confirmation, I'm going to be adding to my position and full sending this bad boy here. I've also got Injective cooking here. So pretty much an entry. If I have enough time to talk about Injective, I will. There's that Polygon trade. EIGEN, like I said, I took EIGEN on both Gravity and WEX. The NMR trade, unfortunately, is not on Gravity, but if you guys want to trade NMR with me, you can get that one on WEX here. And like I said, pretty much at entry right now. Okay. So ICP looking good. Yeah. So let me talk about Polygon. Okay, because it was on the RSI heat map. You guys saw that I'm in profits right now. I took a sneaky little long, and it's one of the few that's doing quite well. And if you guys do your own research on Polygon, they are getting traction pretty much everywhere. They are taking over. And one of the things that's extremely attractive about this is January 7th, deflationary boost. Basically 1 million Polygon is getting burned every single day, basically potentially reducing the supply by 3.5% annually. This is a very bullish thing. And one thing that I really like about Polygon, even though it's, kind of high on the RSI heat map, and I think it's going to continue to go, is because we already filled the wick. This was the 10-10 wick. We filled the wick and we're above the point of control. We had a 3-day bullish divergence. Here's another example, 3-day bullish divergence, and what is going on with this guy, right? So let me zoom in and show you guys. Right? Just in the event that Bitcoin dumps, this is one you want to kind of get into, right? But from the low, we've already made a 40% move to the upside. That's why when I'm giving you guys these setups right now, it is not unrealistic for me to say 30, 40% anymore. That's why the tile says potential swing long season, because we're already seeing it before our very own eyes here, especially with Polygon. So Polygon is going to keep ripping, in my opinion. We have filled the wick, right? This was the 10-10 wick. We filled it quite nicely. We found the bottom. They're burning tokens. Do your own research. They're getting traction. I think there was like a partnership or something like that. But we are just now getting above the 50. It's on its way to the 100. And believe me, I think we're going to make our way towards the 200-day moving average here. So there's a huge, substantial move coming here. And in the event that Bitcoin has some kind of dump, Bitcoin goes to 88K, set your alerts, get into this bad boy. I'm already in it. But if I get it pulled back down to 1263, I'm going to be adding more to my position here. So I recommend setting alert right here. We have a point of control, anchored VWAP from the uptrend anchored VWAP with a 50-day moving average. It was holding the point of control. And that's another example. That's why I always tell you guys about point of controls, because they literally act as a line of defense. Look at that. Could not get a wick below it. Tried and then sent. So make sure you guys are using your fixed range volume profiles, as it is a free tool in TradingView. Okay. Now, Let me share with you guys Injective. Okay, so Injective is very, very nice. I just took the trade as well on WEX. Pretty much an entry right now, but same situation. We have the 3-day bullish divergences here. So we have 2 of them. And Injective is quite strong, right? Because it didn't fill the wick, right? Which means there's some kind of thing going on here. And it held the 786 quite nicely. So I've taken a fib from the wick low to the high here. And you can see that the 786, it came right into that zone here, held it quite nicely. 786s are bangers here. Let's zoom into the 1 hour time frame. Okay, now the thing about Injective here, okay, and I know Uncle Dylan is talking about this as well, but look, it's holding the uptrend anchored VWAP. However, it is below the point of control, and it is kind of below the 50-day moving average. But I still think this is the zone if we get it, and I truly feel like we're going to get the volume to pump it up and find the retest and go. Why? 3-day bullish divergence, guys. We had 2 of them, and it is yet to play out here, right? So again, this is one that hasn't taken off yet. It is also part of the AI narrative. So if Render had a run, Injective had, these tokens could have their rotation, right? And yes, I'm in all these tokens, right? Because not all of them are going to work out, but you will have the heavy hitter winner that's going to dump and make it, or pump to the heavens or dump to the downside, right? Like Zcash did, right? It had a freaking crazy 20% dump, right? And some of them are going to have its 2s and 3s and the 5%, and that's cool. Take your profits. But I guarantee you 1 or 2 of these are going to get sent, just like we saw with 𝗗𝗏. So let's get into 𝗗𝗏 now, and we'll close out the session here, right? But the 𝗗𝗏 is coming into a overbought zone. It's coming into a massive undercarriage here. And what I have here is the entire price action, right? This is the macro. I'm on the daily. So first and foremost, we have 3 overbought signals on the daily. I've taken a fib from the high to the wick low from the 1010 wick. And we have a hacker zone 618 retracement. And yeah, pretty much we came into that zone today, right? So we have support. Then we lost it, right? And we've been trying to find our way here. And that's why I've been calling for 𝗗𝗏 to come up to this level here. And yeah, we're starting to get this rejection here. However, these shorts are never easy. And I think there's going to be some games to be had here with 𝗗𝗏, especially when we had this back in the days. If you guys remember, I gave a setup here. I had a second order down here. That second order hit, and then we got sent, right? So this could very well happen, right? These crazy wick deals. And so what I'm sensing here with 𝗗𝗏 is that they're not going to make it easy, right? They're not going to make you get in the short, and then all of a sudden we're going to go down. They're going to do something like this. It's going to be very fast, and then it's going to go down. So I have my alert, my alert actually went off, but I didn't take the trade because there's pretty much no time to take the trade. So you can see here, this is kind of the beginning of the hacker zone. So yeah, set your alerts here, guys. This is the big short, 1876, right? Bearish order block. It's a 618 undercarriage. And this is kind of the zone to build the short right here, 1920, and then 20 cents, right? And then I have the stop loss basically at 2020, let's just do 2026 since it's 2026. And yeah, the reason for that is because we have a macro point of control on the entire range pull, right? This is the entire range pull. I have value area high up here, point of control here, and the point of control is coming in right here. And yeah, I think that it's a very fair idea. Invalidation would be, yeah, it just keeps pumping and pumping and pumping. Get the hell out. This is the final invalidation here. But I personally think maybe seeing something like this and then looking for this to come down to, yeah, the 618 makes sense, right? Maybe the 382, right? So some TP zones to give you guys is basically 1631-ish and, maybe like 15 cents. Okay. So look, I gave you guys quite a bit here. You're 35 minutes in, got a few minutes left, and I wanted to bring James because he's got some macro news for you guys. And I think it's very important, right? Because we want volatility, and I think we're going to get volatility tomorrow, but there's speculation that, hey, it might be a nothing burger. So, sir,
that's it. Tomorrow's the big day. I don't know if anyone saw Dylan's show. Of course, they've seen it. If they haven't, though, maybe you've heard this elsewhere because it's being talked about everywhere. But tomorrow is a Supreme Court decision, whether there's actually a decision or not, but it's on the Trump tariffs. whether or not they're legal, because typically Congress is the one that has to set tariffs. He made an executive order, declared an emergency in order to be able to declare the tariffs, and they're debating the legality of that. Typically, though, these court cases take forever. If you've ever been in the U.S. court system, you know it takes forever and ever and ever. And this has such massive implications. The chances of a decision being made are not likely at all. So it's probably a nothing burger, but doesn't mean we can't get our nice volatility wick to get us our entries in. So something to keep an eye on for sure. There could be a decision. I can't say there won't be, but I'm not betting on that, but I am betting on volatility.
100% volatile. You know, there's going to be some kind of fake tweet, and then, oh my gosh, never mind. And Donald Trump actually did this, and then everything goes back down. But yeah, guys, there's going to be some shenanigans. And look, if you're a scalper, it's going to be a scalper's playground tomorrow. But look, I think if we get those dips down into these zones that I'm telling you guys about right now, just be ready, set your alerts, you know, have your freaking sniper rifle ready to get those entries. And yeah, looking forward to see what the weekend brings us. You know, personally, I think we'll get some green here in the next couple days. James, what do you think?
Fingers crossed. I hope so too. That'd be nice if we get a little fake out tomorrow. There's a little whatever tweet comes out, like you say, and then boom, get a nice green weekend again. That'd be fantastic.
I think it's possible, guys, because if you were paying attention earlier, James was wearing a red shirt on Dylan's show. He's wearing black right now.
Yep.
So, I think we might have a sign.
It's a sign.
Yes. So awesome, guys. Well, hey, that's our time here today. I'll see you guys next Thursday. And then for those of you guys that are not in the chart hackers, we do a Sunday banger session where we go over some more setups. We'll do updates about these charts and ideas that I gave here today. And yeah, I would say good luck, everyone.
Good luck, everyone.
Awesome. All right, guys. Cheers and bye for now. See you on the next trade.